You wrote a really nice piece on Friday that posted on National Review talking about the Flynn indictment, what it may or may not mean. You had an interesting take on this because in your view, and please correct me if I'm misrepresenting you, you believe that in fact Flynn didn't violate any laws and that the plea agreement, which is guilty of lying to the FBI, which is never a good idea, might indicate that the case against the president isn't as strong as a lot of people would like to think that it is.
Well, what I believe, Bill, is that there's no collusion case. And I'm basing that not just on the disposition of Flynn's case, but also being mindful of the fact that Flynn represents the third set of charges that's been filed by Mueller. He filed an indictment against Paul Manafort and Rick Gates that had absolutely nothing to do with collusion with Russia in connection with the 2016 election. He filed a case against a guy, a low-level campaign guy named George Papadopoulos, which was accompanied by a 14-page statement of the offense on which collusion poured off every single page. He's meeting, he's meeting with Russian people or people connected to Russians. They're going to have meetings between Putin and Trump and Putin. He thinks he's negotiating with someone who purports to be Putin's niece. And then at the end of it all, Mueller lets him plead guilty to false statements to an FBI agent that don't have anything to do with the collusion case. And now we have Flynn, pretty much the same thing. And what that leads me to believe is something I've argued from the beginning, which is that collusion is not a crime. What prosecutors care about is conspiracy, which means you have to have an agreement to violate a federal criminal statute. Just saying collusion doesn't make a felony. So I don't think they have a collusion case. I haven't thought so for a long time. And I think this is really now an obstruction investigation.
Andrew, and in regard to that, there have been various characterizations of where we're at in this investigation. Obviously, Robert Mueller has tacked down on the leaks. It's very hard to know, and he's done a very good job with that. But on the one hand, you have Trump's lawyer who came out today and said that, this is really the beginning of the end. Everything's going to be wrapped up very quickly, even possibly by the end of the year. And then you've got other, the political commentariat saying that, oh, this is just the beginning, and that this plea deal with General Flynn is really just the bait for the bigger fish that Mueller might be going after in regard to obstruction. So as someone who has analyzed this so very well, where do you see us in the process with this investigation?
Well, I think we're closer to the beginning than the end. I agree with that part of it. And I also think that what they're trying to do is make an obstruction case on Trump that is not geared toward being an indictment in federal court, because I think as a practical matter and probably as a constitutional matter, the president can't be indicted for a judicial proceeding in which he gets charged with a crime. I think the remedy here and the end game here is impeachment. So if Congress decided that he corruptly used his prosecutive executive powers to weigh in on investigations and remove the FBI director, they could file articles of impeachment against him based on whatever report Mueller comes up with. But I don't think there'll ever be an indictment in court. I think that's going to take a while. And part of the reason I think that is I just don't think that Mueller assembled an empire of 17 lawyers to make a false statements case.
Newsmax TV. Watch us on Dish, DirecTV, AT&T Uverse, Verizon Fios, or download our free app. Don't have Newsmax TV? Call your local cable provider and request Newsmax today.